I'll be showing you guys how to make this elastic at the back and then the band in front gather skirt. And for that I'm going to be using about 2.5 yards of fabric for the gather itself, and then half yard for cutting the band and the belt for the skirt. So in total I'm using about 3 yards of fabric, but it depends on you. If you want the gather more, then you can go ahead and use the whole 3 yards for the gather of the skirt, and then cut out your band from somewhere else, like maybe use 3.5 yards of fabric. Or another way to calculate it is, if you want your gather to be so if you want the gather to be just like normal gather, less gather, then you work with 2 times your waist measurement. If your waist is 40, then the length of the gather you're using is going to be that's times 2 of the 40. That's going to be 80, right? So let's say you want the gather to be more, then you use 3 times your waist measurement. So that means if your waist is like let's say the same, let me use the same 40, so that means you're going to use 40 into 3. That's going to be 120 will be the width of the fabric. So that's basically it. So for me, I'm going to be using about 2.5 yards of fabric. That's like 2 times the waist I'm working with a little bit more. So the first thing I'm going to do is, the fabric I'm working with, this is the whole fabric here. I've gone ahead and folded it into 2, right? So it's basically, the waist I'm working with is 40 inches, right? So 40 inches times 2 is 80. So what I have here is about 90 inches, right? What I have here, I just added extra 10 inches to it because I'm trying to manage the fabric and the person doesn't want the gather too much. So the next thing I'm going to do is fold the fabric into 2 and divide it, right? So one is going to be at the front, and then one half of the fabric is going to be at the back. So you see, I folded it equally, right? So folded it equally. I have, like, let's say I have 45 in front, 45 at the back, and then I split it open. So one here is my front panel, the second one is my back panel. So I'm going to set it aside. So guys, this is what I'll be using for my front band. So guys, the waist I'm working with is 40 inches, right? So my 40 inches divided by 2, that's going to be 20 inches in front, 20 inches at the back. So the 20 inches I need for the front is what I have here, but instead I made it 22 inches, right? Half an inch for joining this side to the back and half an inch for joining the other side to the back. That's the back gather that is going to come on the sides, right? So this here I have 22 inches, right? You see 22 inches on the dot. So the waist measurement divided by 2 is what you're supposed to do, and then you add 2 inches to it. That's 1 inch for the seam allowance here on this side, 1 inch for the seam allowance on this side. I don't have the stay that they normally iron in, so what I normally do is I just cut my band a little bit bigger so that when I fold it, it gives the fabric some thickness, right? So you see, so I'm just going to fold this in. So the width I have here is about 10 inches, right? But if you had the stay, all you need is just cut fabric that is maybe about 5 inches of width and then iron in your stay. That's maybe like 6 inches of width, not 5 inches. Iron in your stay and then fold it into 2. And that's your band. You just go ahead and place it in. But since I don't have it, I'm using the fabric to make it thick, to make the band thick. So this is what I'm doing here. Fold it into 2 and then close it up. So this is going to be my band for the front. So I'm just going to pin it down here. So guys, as you can see, I folded this. I took one of the panels, so this is going to be the front panel. It doesn't matter, just pick out any of them and any of the 2 fabrics that you split. So what I did is I folded it into 2 and notched it here so I can find the center of this fabric. This will help me distribute the gather evenly, so that one side will not have a lot of gather and getting to the other end it doesn't have enough gather. So I normally notch my fabric and then fold the band into 2, right? Find the center and then use a chalk to mark it. So what I do is I just normally just take this notch. You see my notch here, this notch, fix it into this part here where I've already marked my center. Just fix it in half an inch in, and then this is how I make my gather. So I'm going to just pin this down here, and then when I go to the sewing machine, I just go back and forth, like stitch it back and forth, and then just keep on gathering it into this place, and then cover it up with this here. So as I'm going, I'm just sewing it in, and closing up my the gather with this top part here. So guys, I've gone ahead and put in the band. So this is what it looks like right now. If I open it up, you see the gather is just distributed evenly. So now the next thing I'm going to do is to move over to the back. But before then, I'm going to show you guys something. As you can see, the waist of this here, because I don't have the white stay, right? You can see that this part of the waist is a little bit like slack, and maybe when the person is wearing it, this top part, maybe the waist will still fit perfectly, but this top part might just look something like this. So what I'll do now is, you can also do it even if you're using the white stay. Just go ahead at this edge here, this top part here, you're going to subtract about ½ an inch in. So you're going to come in by ½ an inch, right? And then you're going to angle it down, because remember, your waist goes in this way, right? It goes in this way. So the narrowest part is this top part here. So I'm just going to take it in by ½ an inch here, cut out ½ an inch, and then angle it to this point. So I'm going to just cut it out. I've cut it off now, so you see. So when I attach the band now, it's going to pull on this waist and then also pull at the back here. So this waist part, that excess fabric is no longer there. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you guys for the back. So this is the elastic I'm going to be using at the back. It's about 2 inches of width. So I made sure that 2 inches, this is what I'm going to use for the band. So I made sure that these 2 inches will fit into this fabric here. That's if I fold it this way, these 2 inches can fit in properly. You see, so it can fit in here. So this is what I'm going to be using here. So, and then I also have about ½ an inch here for my seam allowance, and then ½ an inch just so that this will have some ease to it. So basically the length of this band plus 1.5, the width of this here plus 1.5, that's exactly the width when folded, right? So you see, this is exactly the width if I fold it, right? And then I'm going to I added like about extra 1.5 or 2 inches to it. So that's so that this elastic can move freely inside this, because the one thing you don't want is when you put the elastic, this space is too tight that it starts to fold the elastic. So that's why I normally leave about ½ an inch inside of this opening here, so that the elastic can move around easily. So the next thing I'm going to do is to take my back panel of this gather, and then I'm going to go ahead, take this here and sew it along, right? So this is the waist part here. So this is going to be my waist part of this. This is the band, the fabric I'm going to use to make the loop for my elastic. So I'm going to just place it here and then make a stitch all the way, and then I'm going to flip it, cover it on this side here, you see. So that's how I'm going to just go ahead and sew it all the way straight down and make a loop for my elastic. So guys, as you can see, I've gone ahead and put my elastic. So this is it here. So this is the front of the skirt. So you see, I'm going to place it right side facing each other, and then I'm going to go ahead and close it up from the waist. You see, double stitch it here and also double stitch it here. You see, remember, you have to make the elastic less, because remember, elastic stretches, right? So you might want to use like the same because remember, the waist I'm working with is 40, right? My band, my elastic here is about 16 inches is the elastic I'm working with, because you know this bold elastic doesn't stretch as much. And then I also have extra 1 inch here for the allowances on the side. So that's about, in total, that's 18 inches, right? But 16 is what I'm going to end up with at the back. So I'm expecting this to, since my waist is going to be 40, the front band is 20, the elastic is 16. So I'm expecting it to stretch up to that extra 4 inches needed to complete the waist here, because the tension is already more as I'm pulling it now. So that I'm just expecting that this tension can stretch up to that 4 inches that I need to complete it as 20 inches. So the next thing I'm going to do is to at this point you can go ahead and put your belt, because you can see this, they just make out cut out fabric, fold it, and then iron it. So this is what I have here for my belt. You're going to go ahead, put it inside, right? So I'm going to do it one at a time. I show you guys. Put it inside here, and then use the front one. You see, this is the front of my back, the back of the skirt. This is the belt, and then I'm going to put the front of the skirt on top, and then I'm going to close it. You see the three of them. So if I open it up now, you see that the belt is in between the front and the back panel. So you also do the same thing on the other side. And then when you close up your waist, if you want, you can go ahead and also put pockets. So for me, I don't, this fabric is almost finished. I don't have any more, so I'm just going to use this white fabric and just attach it on each side. So the way this front panel is now, just go ahead, cut maybe 10 inches and 10 inches of width, sew it down this way. You see, sew it down. This is the wrong side. You see, sew it down this way. And then also do the same thing for the back panel. Sew another one down this way, and then you're going to close it up this way and just cover it. You see, so you make a stitch here to hold this to one side of the skirt, make a stitch to hold this on the other side of the skirt, place it, close it up this way, and then cover here, cover here, cover here, and then maybe come up by 5 inches and leave 5 inches open in between for someone to put their hand. So that's basically it on how to make this type of skirt. So I'm going to just go ahead and do mine. I've gone ahead and put in the pockets on each side. So like I said, attach it on each side. You see, one on this side, one on the other side, and then you just join it here, close it up. So that's basically it. And come up a little bit, because you can't leave the whole space open. Come up maybe 4 inches and leave the rest open for here. So this is it, the inside. So this is the front waistline. You can see the two belts come at the side, and then this is the back of the skirt here. So this is the back of the skirt. So I don't know, she can tie the belts back at the back, or she can also just bring it forward and tie it in front. So that's basically it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Bye.